So welcome back. I'm Anna Maria from Taylor Physiotherapy, and as promised, this is my second video about um, centering in Pilates, and today we're really going to focus on your rib cage placement and your breathing, lateral breathing. So there are a few key elements in when you're doing Pilates, and we look at centering and pelvic tilts in the bottom. So that's what we did in a previous video, and this is just to help you a little bit understand a bit about lateral breathing and rib cage mobility. So the importance of it is that if you have a very stiff rib cage, you tend to just lift your rib cage up and not breathe properly. And it's also important that you not only breathe through your belly and through the upper chest, you learn to breathe through the sides of your waist, so that when you're doing abdominal exercises, you're not letting go of that core strength and you're able to breathe even through the sides of your waist. And it's an easy way of breathing. I'm sure Bill has mentioned this in previous videos as well, so it's just reiterating basically what we're doing, and the movement of I call it rib flaring as well. I use it as an exercise in and itself to get a little bit of movement through your through your thoracic spine rather than your pelvis, and also because when you need it to be able to move a little bit to get that initial activation when you're doing your abdominal crunches, so that you offload your neck, which I can explain in another video, just to remind you the little few things and cues that you need to remember, just to be able not to poke your chin and to really focus on your core when you're doing your exercises. So again, for this one, same as last time, you need a mat or lie onto the floor, ideally better than a bed, because it's a little bit more solid and gives you a bit more feedback rather than anything. And again, you need a little bit of a folded towel or a small padded cushion. If you have the capacity to do these exercises even with or without the top or a short top to be able to feel a little bit better, it helps. And remember, you're always you're used to being in a position, so it's going to take a little bit more feedback and time to be able to get you more body aware and getting out of that those habits and into new habits that become more unconscious than conscious effort. So again, you're going to lie onto your back. This time, I'm just going to lower myself a bit. So this time, just make sure your knees are bent and that your head is resting on a head cushion. Again, we remember the few key points. So I'm just going to lift my top so you can see a little bit better. So knees in line with your hips, heels closer, and then again, you really want to just remind yourself the centering through your lower back a little bit, and then just forget about here for a little while. So we're going to focus a little bit higher up. So your rib cage, you will definitely want to feel a little bit of key anatomical points to see where you are. So when we did the centering through the lower part of your pelvis and your back, we found your hip, the pokey hip bones on the front, which is your pelvis essentially on the front. So then if you go a little bit higher, it's where your rib cage starts to poke out in and around the top of your belly. And then if you go in, you've got the soft part of your belly, which is where your belly and tummy muscles are. But this bit here, where your rib cage starts, is where you want to start getting your anatomical bearings to know where you are. So this is where your rib cage starts. It goes all the way to the back. Now, what you'd want to do is grab your hands and you want to start doing, same as we did with the pelvic tilts, to get an idea and a little bit of release as well. You want to do the same with the trunk, with the chest. So what I like doing is the thumbs go at the back and the fingers come on the front. So you create almost like a bucket shape. So you're doing a C-shaped bucket shape on the side, thumbs at the back, and fingers on the front. So nice and soft. And then what you want to do is you want to try and think of starting off, which is the simplest and easiest thing to start off with, is lifting that chest up towards the ceiling. And then you want to go the opposite way. So you want to start softening that rib cage down. So when you soften the rib cage down, you want to feel, as it comes down, that you're pressing a little bit through the back of your upper back, not your lower back. So we're not pressing your lower back. You don't want to see that pelvic tilt. You want to just feel a little bit of a pressing down through the top of your spine rather than anything. And then what you'd feel as soon as the rib cage starts to soften down is that your abdominals start to isometrically just kick in. So you want to keep that position with the hands. And again, you just want to lift that chest up a little bit towards the ceiling. Not too much that you would compensate with your lower back. Your lower back will move, but you really want to focus the movement through here. And then you want to just soften down. And you want to lift. So I have a tiny bit of range. Some people will have more, some people will have much, much less. So you really just want to work into your range. So with your thumbs at the back, what you could do is just a tiny bit of pressure to almost lift that chest up. And then as you go down, a tiny bit of pressure with those fingers. And you can add your breathing. You want to breathe in. And then breathe out. And breathe in. And then breathe out. And I know the tendency is to lift those shoulders to push your ribs down, but try and keep them down. So again, it's a tiny bit of a lift through the ribs, tiny bit of a drop. One more. And then drop. And you want to get that rib cage where it's nice and soft. It's not too high up, it's not too pushed down, it's in that center. So you have to feel your rib cage just over there. And then you feel your hip bones. Sometimes it's the thumb and the middle finger. Sometimes it depends on the length of your hands as well. They should be nice and aligned, and that creates a bit of a center. Whereas if your chest is too high up, you feel your thumbs too high up and your fingers much lower down. So you really want to get to that level where your ribs are relatively in a straight line with your hips. So that's already centering from the bottom and centering from the top. Okay, so that's your rib flaring movement and placement. Now to get a bit of lateral breathing. So lateral breathing is breathing to the sides of your waist. So again, you can do the C shape, thumbs at the back and hands at the front. But you can push the thumbs a little bit further back. So almost like you get a bit more roundness to the side. So what you do with lateral breathing is you want to take a breath in, and when you breathe in, you want to aim into the inner hands where they are placed. So you breathe in, and you almost want to push your hands out of the way when you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, a tiny bit of pressure with the hands, and let the ribcage sink. So you breathe in, into those hands, and then breathe out. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Breathe in, and then breathe out. Again, breathe in, and breathe out. So the difference is, rather than breathing in and breathing out, or breathing into the belly and breathing out, we are breathing to the sides. We're just breathing in and breathing out. So there is a bit of chest lifting, but not excessively. You really want to focus on the side. And the good thing is, so when you come in sitting, sometimes it will help a little bit more in sitting. If you do it the same in sitting and you breathe in, you can see the elbows lifting up a little bit, but not too much. And then you breathe out. So you breathe in, and then you breathe out. And you breathe in, and you breathe out. And as you're coming out and breathing out, you just do that gentle squeeze, because with the squeeze a little bit, you get a little bit of reciprocal expansion of your lungs. Afterwards, they tend to open up a little bit more. It's like a contraction, and then it relaxes a little bit more. So give those a little bit of a try. If you practice them on your own separately and then you join them together, you could see like we did centering before in your lower back, and then today we did a little bit of it just before we went onto your rib cage placement, and then you join them all together. These are just key elements that will help you understand and get you even stronger into your classes when you attend. And these are exercises that we also give to people who come around to us with back pain and upper back pain and lower back pain, or chest pain or shoulder pain, because it's important that everything moves well, and sometimes it's a contribution of just not being able to um, move well because of some stiffness or having lack of awareness of where your body is, and that will create some sort of imbalances into your body and how it moves. So yeah, just give them a try, and again, if you have any questions, please let us know. Thank you, and see you next time.